It's Christmas Eve, guys. Are you so excited? Merry, merry everywhere, joy to the world, right? Well, let me just tell you, things aren't always what they seem. Don't believe me? Take a look. I'm all dressed up, I've got my glam squad, came and did my hair and makeup. Totally kidding on that. I am the glam squad. TONI, party of one. But I've got my sweater on, my jewelry, my makeup, my hair, and yeah, those would be pajama pants. Wondering where I'm going with this merry, merry and things aren't always what they seem? Stay with me to the end and I'll tell you all about it. Here we go. Hey guys, this is TONI and welcome to Action for Aging, where we're tackling life's most underestimated season with intentional action and a big dose of self-love. If it's your first time here and you're searching for a channel dedicated to the mature season of life, then welcome. This is your community. I'd ask you to go ahead and hit that red subscribe button below so that you can join us on a regular basis. There's also a bell icon there. If you want to go ahead and hit that, you'll put in your email address and you will be notified when I release new content. Okay? So it's going on all around us, right? We're in the heart and soul of Christmas. It's Christmas Eve. Everybody is singing joy to the world. Also, you hear the Merry Christmas sentiment being passed back and forth, right? But what happens if you don't feel that way? What if your Christmases are not a merry time for you? What if something about the holiday season brings sadness or pain or loneliness? Is that okay too? There is so much pressure to, or so much expectation to have a certain experience during the holidays, and that may not be in line with reality. So my Christmases, they've kind of been up and down, and I enjoy that I still have children in the home and that we can make Christmas about them. But there's also pain as well, guys. Things aren't always what they seem. It is a reality for us as content creators that we get behind the camera, right? And we show you our best because that's what you're here for. I think most of us want to learn something new. We want to connect with people who understand us. We want to laugh. We want to be taken away from our own reality sometimes, don't we? And we just want to smile and feel a connection. And those are great things. They are. And I think it's really important that we do that. It's really important for our spirit that we look for ways to uplift it. But the truth is, we are behind a lens and we are putting our best face forward for you. And behind the scenes, there's a real life that goes on. That's true for me, and I know it's true for you as well. So I just want to share with you a little bit about my holiday season this year and to let you know that you're not alone if it isn't picture perfect, okay? So I, for one, chose this year to really simplify. I did not get out as many of my Christmas decorations as I normally would. We do have our lights up outside and obviously our tree is up as well. But there are things I didn't do. One thing, I kind of regret not doing it, is that we have this faux fireplace, right? We don't have a real fireplace in our home, and it's cardboard, and it takes me back to my childhood because we had one as well. And when I decorate this little cardboard fireplace, it looks so adorable. We hang our stockings on it, and we decorate the mantle, and when it's all done, it's just absolutely beautiful. But it takes some time to set up, and I just wasn't feeling it this year. I just wasn't in a position to do that, and I gave myself permission to scale back. And Christmas is still going to be lovely for my family, but it also needs to be manageable for me, okay? So in my personal life, there are some things going on. For one, someone very close to me is battling an illness. They are dealing with cancer, to be frank, and I prefer to be private about that, but it's a reality that I'm facing in my life. In the last week, we had a personal family crisis that was extremely painful for me, and I am concerned for the family member that was involved, and I am very not at peace with it and trying to make peace with what happened. And so all of these things are going on right at the holiday. I want to share with you what I turn to for comfort, for strength to get through the moments, the hours, the days, the season. And I hope that by my sharing that with you, that you'll realize that you too have the strength to walk a situation out, to walk a holiday season out, whether you're alone, whether you have people in your life, that you would find a way to take one foot in front of the other until the season passes. So let me just share with you what that looks like for me. Being a person of faith, I would turn to the scriptures and I would allow those to comfort me and to guide me and to give me wisdom and insight to a situation. So I'm going to challenge you to figure out what that is for you. For me, it would be the scriptures, and I want to share a couple of things with you. For one, I am a Christian, and the season of Christmas is based on the birth of Jesus. And in the book of Luke, the shepherds are so excited about the message that they received from the angels, and I just want to share something with you. It says, when the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were, quote, amazed. They were amazed at what the shepherds had said to them. So can you imagine people from this time period in history hearing this incredible message from numerous shepherds who claimed that this vision of angels appeared to them and that they were given a message about the birth of Jesus, and that they went and witnessed it, and that they were just amazed, and they just were filled with so much excitement, right, to share this information with others. But listen to the response of the mother of the infant Jesus. It says, "But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart." And I notice that the word is "but." There's all this excitement going on, but there's all of this amazement going on, but there's all this sharing of information and of what they saw and what they heard, and how they're just filled with a passion to spread that to the next person in amazement. But Mary responds very quietly. She just takes it in. She gives herself permission, right, to just ponder it, to just think about it. So I think it's okay for us, if the mother of Jesus can approach what historically will become the season of Christmas, if she can approach that with just a quietness and a reflection in spite of all the joy and amazement that's going on around her, can't we do that too? Isn't that okay for us to just reflect and be quiet and to ponder? So if that is something that helps you, guys, take that message and run with it. You do not have to be a Christian to understand that example. It is okay, if there are other things going on in your life, to back away from the pressure to perform in the merry, merry of Christmas, in the amazement and the joy, and to just simply be silent and to ponder, or to step away and reflect on what you need to take in and process. If this season you're feeling grief, loss, pain, especially with the merry, merry of the season, then let me take you one step further. And again, this is just from my faith perspective. For you, it may just be an analogy that helps you to understand your own situation a little bit better. So please don't take this as me preaching, because I'm definitely not. I can only share where I come from. And so I'm going to take you to Psalm 77 and share with you a little bit about King David and what he went through. He was in a situation in his life where he was crying out to God for help, and he felt that in his distress and in doing that God didn't hear him. It says in verse 1 through 2, it says, I cried out to God for help. I cried out to God to hear me. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night, I stretched out untiring hands so he could not sleep. And my soul refused to be comforted. So he reaches out from the deepest part of his faith, and he doesn't feel comforted. He goes on to say, I remembered you, O God, and I groaned. So he actually felt worse reaching out in faith. He actually felt more alone. Have you ever felt like that? Where you feel like you're going through all the right motions, right? And you end up feeling perhaps even worse than you did before you set out to make it better. So what does he do to get out of this despair? He says, you kept my eyes from closing. So he's actually lashing out at God. He's blaming him for what he's going through. He goes on to say, will the Lord reject forever? He feels like God is just rejecting his cries. Will he never show his favor again? He goes on to basically lament. But then he says he's going to appeal to the Most High. And this is what he says. He says, I will remember the deeds of the Lord. So he's going to remember God's actions. He's going to reflect on what God has done for him in the past. I will meditate on all your works and consider all your mighty deeds. So he's going to focus on God's actions with others, the way that he's seen God work in other people's lives. And it reminds me that sometimes there are places in your life, there are places in my life, where we feel so alone, that nobody can be there in that private space with us but God. It's just us and him, right? And for you, if that's not you, if you're not a person of the same faith that I am, relate that to your circumstances. What does that look like for you? You know that lonely place that I'm telling about. You know that isolated spot I'm referring to. I, from that psalm, realized that I need to reflect on God's good deeds when I was aware of how he worked. I was aware of the answer he provided. I do see that he was in my circumstances with me and that he walked them with me and brought me through them. I see how he works in other people's lives right now, even if it doesn't feel like he's working in mine in the way that I would hope or need. He has not abandoned me. I am not alone. And it is okay for me to take in this season with quiet reflection, right? With pondering some things in my heart. It's okay for me to step away from the pressure to perform. It's okay for me to scale back. All of these things are okay, guys. And I hope that in some small way that helps you to understand that just because you see that smiling face behind the camera, it doesn't mean that that person, whether it's me, another YouTuber, it doesn't mean that they don't have a real life with real pain and real struggles just like you going on behind that lens. I think it's part of the human experience, right? Our life is filled with highs and lows, valleys and mountains, and we live in a broken world with broken people. And so know that if tomorrow doesn't look exactly the way that you would hope or plan or expect, that it is okay, guys. It really is okay. Have the Christmas that you need to have, not the one that you feel you have to live up to. Okay, guys? So I love you. I wish you moments of quiet pondering, and just know that I'm thinking about each one of you and praying for those whose season is not the Merry Mary that we feel the pressure to have, okay? If you like what I've shared with you today, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please remember this. You are special and you are so very valuable in this moment and in this season of life right now. So act on it. Goodbye, friends.